Having failed in his attempt to revive the Jedi Order anew, Luke Skywalker retreated into exile upon the sequestered planet of Ahch-To, hidden within the unknown regions of the galaxy. Luke's choice in Ahch-To appears to be relatively straightforward upon first glance, outside of the simple fact that it was concealed from the rest of the galaxy, which is that it was the birthplace of the Jedi Order and home to lost ancient Jedi wisdom. But as more information has been released about Ahch-To in the materials connected to The Last Jedi, Ahch-To is far more interesting and really mysterious than simply being the birthplace of the Jedi. In many ways, the planet is similar to another strange planet seen within the Star Wars canon, the planet of Mortis from Season 3 of the Clone Wars TV series. In this video expose, I will describe the connections between the planets of Ahch-To and Mortis, focusing particularly upon their representations of balance. Before getting into the concepts of balance shared by these two planets, it's best to start with just how unique Ahch-To and Mortis are from other planets within the Star Wars universe. As we learn within the Last Jedi visual dictionary, Ahch-To and Mortis share the feature of being immensely strong in the Force, referring to them both as being Force-infused. The visual dictionary refers to Ahch-To, and more specifically the island upon which Luke resides, as being drenched in the Force. This description of Mortis' strength in the Force corresponds to Obi-Wan and Anakin's description of the planet when they first arrived there, with Anakin pointing out that since their arrival, he could sense the sheer power of the Force upon the planet. But it isn't simply that both planets are strong in the Force. There are many planets that are within the galaxy. The importance is the mysterious quality of the planets that's connected to being so powerfully Force-infused, which includes the warping of time. You'll remember at the end of the Mortis arc in Season 3, despite Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka being present upon Mortis for a prolonged period of time, Rex perceived it as only a matter of moments.
General Skywalker, come in.
We read you, Rex? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Standing by. We were worried.
You were off the scopes there for a moment.
A moment? We've been gone more than a moment, Rex.
Sir, I don't understand. You'll need to explain.
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
The visual dictionary makes it clear that Ahch-To has a similar quality to it, as a result of its strength in the Force. Sharing the mysterious nature of Mortis, Ahch-To also distorted time, causing Luke to lose track of it in the same way seen through the conversation between Anakin and Rex. Perhaps not to the same extent as Mortis, but the same nonetheless. But again, outside of just its pure strength in the Force, both Ahch-To and Mortis appear to have a connection to the Force that displays a unique characteristic of balance. And perhaps my favorite reveal in the materials connected to The Last Jedi, we now know that the temple upon Ahch-To contained an ancient mosaic literally built into the ground of the temple. As confirmed by the caretakers on the island in-universe, but also in the Art of The Last Jedi guide out-of-universe, the mosaic depicts the Prime Jedi, the very first Jedi and founder of the Order. Further, the Prime Jedi is clearly in a state of balance. But the balance is more meaningful to us in that it represents a balance in the schism between the dualities perceived as light and dark. Stated more clearly, the Prime Jedi is in a state of balance between the light and dark sides of the Force. The original design of the mosaic represents an attempt to visually depict this sort of balance even more in my opinion, with the energy of the Prime Jedi's lightsaber branching off in the directions of both light and dark, and achieving balance above them. I don't believe it's a coincidence that the original tenets of the Jedi Order as created on Ahch-To arose out of this concept of balance, and in many ways originate out of the island itself. Even the caretakers of Ahch-To rejected the path of the modern Jedi in their own religious beliefs, rejecting the path solely committed to the light. Instead, the caretakers, while living in the shadow of the first Jedi temple upon the island, accepted that the ideal is a balance and tranquility, with their religion accepting analogs for lightness and darkness. The concept of balance surrounding the planet of Mortis hardly needs to be explained. It was a realm in which three Force wielders were engaged in the eternal struggle for dominance. A son representing the dark, a daughter representing the light, and a father who maintained the balance of the Force between them. Obi-Wan immediately recognized the balance that was present upon Mortis. After Anakin confirmed that the planet was extremely strong in the Force, Obi-Wan states that he felt an intersection in the Force, unlike anything he'd ever felt before, clearly meaning that the planet was a fulcrum balancing light and dark. It's also interesting that within the Mortis Monastery, and more specifically, the floor of the monastery's arena, depicts an image that's similar to the Prime Jedi mosaic in its representations of balance. It clearly displays the Taoist symbology of the yin and yang that the concept artists working on The Last Jedi tried to incorporate into the Ahch-To mosaic, with dark and light shapes within each other. In both symbols, I believe that they represent the balance inherent within the planets themselves. Even the physical nature of Ahch-To and Mortis share a similar conception of balance. You'll remember that the cycle of day and night upon Mortis exhibited a cycle of death and decay, which fed into the rebirth of new life. While the day was a time of tranquility and peace, with lush fields and vibrant green trees, the night saw the exact opposite, with death and decay falling over the planet. Ahch-To was similar in this cycle of balance, not so much from day to night, but in the drastic change in its weather patterns. Ahch-To could at times be defined by its beauty, serenity, and vibrant sunshine, yet also defined by its violent storms, making survival without shelter nearly impossible. But the cycle of balance that's so clearly visible upon Mortis is also best described by Rey upon Ahch-To, once she sees the island as it is through the Force. As Rey describes it, the island, life, death and decay that feeds new life, warmth, cold, peace, violence. And when Luke asks her what is between it all, Rey answers, balance, a force. Just like Obi-Wan felt the intersection of the Force between light and dark on Mortis, Rey felt it easily upon Ahch-To, in really only her first true lesson. I believe the importance here is that Ahch-To, much like Mortis, gives rise to the true nature of the Force, which is one of balance. Although Mortis was completely outward in its representations of this balance, almost hitting you over the head with the clear symbols, Ahch-To isn't so clear in this regard. But in many ways, the planets are extremely similar. In some follow-up videos in the coming days, I'm going to explain why I believe these concepts of balance are so important, and what they may tell us going forward regarding the characters of both Luke and Rey. So there we have it, the connections between Ahch-To and Mortis. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive hangouts and book discussions. If not for me, for finding balance.